The disconnect is part of it, just myths of the past and not taking account of have you paid the rent on time. That often is not included in these scores, or making your payments in various other areas. But what is really, I think, hopefully beginning to change is the whole reaction, especially after 2008, to lending. There's huge regulatory burdens put on banks, where the cost of making a loan, small loan, which is usually defined as under $1 million, the fixed cost went up so much that a lot of banks just simply walked away from it. Just wasn't worth the trouble, the expense, the regulatory blowback you would get. So in the last 8 years, lending really dried up proportionately for small businesses, which is one reason why we had such slow growth, is as we know, small businesses provide 2/3 of the new jobs in this country, provide an extraordinary amount of energy to this country. They went through a virtual depression. Now in the last 2 years with deregulation, one thing Trump has gotten right, deregulation, is that lending is starting to grow again. And I cited the example, just how this swept the whole U.S. The Gaineses, Joanna and Chip Gaines of the famous Fixer Upper show. 10, 11 years ago, they were doing a development in Waco, not big, but they were doing a good job, street lights, all that good stuff they were doing, building good structures, as you know they would. And halfway through, as they're getting to the critical stage to get these things ready to sell, the bank called them up and said, the regulators have told we've got to cut back on our availability of credit, we're cutting yours in half, which meant they suddenly had no money, even though they'd been making all the payments, they had a good record, all the things you would normally want. Suddenly, arbitrary regulation blocked it. They had to go to others, non-traditional sources, and other things to get this thing done.